a rule everybody should know about. If you don't know, when you're out here in the West and you're out here in this country. Okay, guys, this is the story. Be patient, sweetheart. Be patient. Can you breathe? About 15 miles of dirt road. Dry, dry, dry. Wait. Okay, come on. You want me to help you, Fat Lori? Oh, old gal, you're showing your age. Oh, easy does it. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Born 100 years too late. My name's Brett. I'm out here in a place that I've always gone. It's about as remote as you can get out here in this desert. Don't knock over my camera, guys. Seems like every time in my life that I've kind of got down, or I've had, bad times, or not felt good, or like when my first wife and I got a divorce, and I was broke, and I was riding roping horses at that time, and I had those big old stag hounds, and it seemed like I could come out here in the middle of nowhere, and it was comfortable for me. It made me feel better. And this time, I came out here. It's been a week or two since I've even made a video. It's been a couple weeks since I got out. Okay, guys, this is the story. See if I can get through this. Last video I made, I packed in that hot tent way up there in the middle of nowhere. Really neat place. I left it up there. I'd planned on accessing it from different directions. Really good country. There's water there, a little creek and a spring and everything. Came out the next day. When was it? I can't remember what day it was, but something my wife and I like to do is there's a little town north of us that has some mineral springs, hot springs. And we go up there and we'll spend the night, and you can get in those hot springs. They're really good, it makes your bones feel better. It's good for you all the way around. And so that's what we did. Went up there, man, I was feeling good. While I was there, I never will forget, I was just going to the restroom, and there was a towel or something on the floor. And I reached down to get that towel, and bam, my back went out. Whatever happened right then. And I mean, it hurt. Anyway, I've had my back go out before. I never thought about it. And, I thought, well, I'll go back in. I'll just take it easy for a couple days. Well, never got better. Matter of fact, it got worse. And I asked my wife one night, I laid down on the couch. I said, hey, will you just rub my back a little bit? See if I can get the muscles to loosen up. See if it'll pop back into place. So he did, and I went to roll over, and I pushed to roll over, and I mean, just excruciating pain. Just was killer. I mean, it scared her half to death because I screamed like a little baby. And she said, man, I'm going to take you to the hospital. I'm going to take you. I said, no, I'll be all right. She said, if you're not better in a day or two, she said, I'm going to take you to the hospital or to one of those one of those little corner shops where they check you out. I don't know what they call them. Anyway, a couple of days, it didn't get better. So, and it was hurting pretty bad. So I agreed. I said, let's go to the hospital. So we went to the hospital about 10 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, got there, checked in and everything. They took me in there, and we got good insurance, and they took me in there, and they x-rayed. X-rays didn't show anything. Then they did a CT scan. CT scan didn't show anything. So then they ran me through that tube and did an MRI. And, and this was taken all day long. So that night, I went, they moved us we were in the emergency room. They moved me to a little waiting room upstairs. And the doctor that had been talking to me, dealing with me, she was she was always real joking and real nice and everything. And finally, they got the results of the MRI, and she called us out, and we went out there, and she was real serious, and it was almost like she was emotional. Like, and she told me, she said, we're going to admit you for the night. We're going to put you in a room in the hospital for tonight. I said, what? I said, why? But I mean, my back's out. That's all that's wrong. She said, no. She said, we got to have a neurological doctor's going to come by and visit with you in the morning about your options. I said, man, alive. And and right then it kind of scared me. And so they moved me to a room. I told my wife, I said, hey, I'm not staying here unless I absolutely have to. And they moved me to a room, and the neurological doctor was still in the hospital. So he came by to see me that night, about 9 o'clock at night. And he called me back there and showed me the MRI. Well, I have a bulging disc, and that disc is coming through, I guess, my spinal column, and it's pinching the nerves and that sciatic nerve that comes down my leg. It's just, I mean, there's no room. It's just crunching it off. He said, I got a spot. Tomorrow at noon, I can operate on you. I can fix this. I said, man, I just came to the hospital to get checked out. I didn't think you were going to leave me in here and operate on me. I got animals. I got things I got to do. I got arrangements I got to make. I can't just bug out and stay in the hospital. And he said, yeah, it'd be 6 to 7 weeks recovery time. I shook my head, and I told my wife, I said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm just not going to do it. So he was a nice guy. He agreed. He said, all right. He said, no problem. He said, I'll send you to a therapeutic doctor, I think. And I had all kinds of doctor's appointments. I had a heart doctor appointment. I had all this was that last week. And then there's this clinic down there that I'll get into that here in a minute. This is where the bad stuff starts. Anyway, so I went to the heart doctor. He said, all right, we'll see you in 6 months, no problem. And then I went to this therapeutic doctor, real nice guy, Mr. Rodriguez, really super nice guy. And we had gotten the copies of the MRI, and they had looked at it and everything. And it's my L4 lumbar, L4, just bulging and pinching it. And he said, well, we'll give you some medicine and this and that, some not a shot in the back, but these oral tablets to take. And it's a series of these tablets you take, and it's a steroid, and it's an anti-inflammatory steroid. And they gave me some 800 milligram ibuprofens too, which is pretty good stuff. But anyway, I got to feeling a little bit better. Gave me some exercises. Oh, and my dad, my 91-year-old father, he was on crutches at one time because of almost the same thing. And he had an inversion table. And I got that inversion table, and I started hanging upside down. That helps as much as anything, let me tell you. So I got to, researching what can you do? What can you do when you've got a bulging disc like that in the back and in your back? Different exercises, different things. I started doing some different things and doing what the doctor told me to do and taking those pills and everything. And that clinic down there, I'm not going to say the name of the clinic because I don't want to throw them under the bus. But you see, one of the things I read is one of the best things you can do for your back is lose weight. I'm a big guy. I carry a lot of weight. I get around good, but I'm still a big guy. I thought, man, if I could drop 20, 25 pounds, that's going to help my back. That's going to take a lot of pressure off that bulging disc, because I carry most of my weight in my upper body. And I knew my son-in-law, he's a big guy like me, and he had changed. He works in the oil fields, and he has a really good job, but they kind of moved here. I think what he's got now is mostly an office job, and he drives around a pickup. He had gained a ton of weight. And he got on this stuff called OZEMPIC. He lost like 60 pounds. So I called him, and I talked to him. I said, how is that stuff? He said, oh, it's pretty good. He said, it works. He just kills your appetite. Totally kills your appetite. I said, well, I might do that for a month just to see if I can drop 25, 30 pounds. See if I can get my back fixed again. Talked to my wife. Wife said, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. So we went down to that clinic. Talked to them. No hesitation, everything. They gave me a B12 shot, too. They gave me that OZEMPIC shot and gave me a pack for 1 month. You give yourself a shot in the stomach once a week for a month. No problem. They gave me that shot. I never researched it or anything. I never looked up the side effects. And it doesn't do this to everybody. It's just some people. It messed up my mind. I mean, this is embarrassing to talk about. I lost all my motivation, all my desire to do anything. Really depressed and emotional. Heck, I watched a YouTube video and just broke out in tears like a big old sissy. And the video wasn't even that sad. But anyway, I'll never take it again. Never. I'd rather my back hurt forever. The worst feelings I've ever had in my life. And then you go from depressed, no motivation, not feeling like doing anything, to like I woke up last night in the middle of the night with anxiety. I've never had anxiety in my life. I mean, anxiety, like just shaking and wondering what the world's going on, and, everything's bad, nothing's good. It's terrible. So today, typical of what I do when I have hard times in my life, come out here in the middle of nowhere. Bring a bunch of dogs, bring a mule, or used to bring a horse, and spend some time out in the outdoors in nature, whatever you call it out here in this desert. I guess this desert's still nature. But that's my story. And I felt like warning everybody that stuff's no good. It's no good. I don't care. I made a video not too long ago because I knew, I'm 63 years old this year. The things I like to do require a certain amount of physical ability. And I made that video, Don't Let the Old Man In. And I had all these plans. I was going to, eat right and do this and do that and exercise and do all this crap. Not only did I let the old man in, man, I opened the door, put the red carpet down, said, come on in. And by golly, he came in. But that's in the past. I mean, I've learned my lesson. But anyway, I'm going to get on that mule. I'm going to ride to the top of that mountain right there. I'm going to look out over that. This area back that way is called the Jornada del Muerto, the Journey of Death. Back in the old times, the caravans coming out of Mexico, back in the Spaniard days, they used to leave the river and they'd cut across through here. I forget how many miles it is. It's a long ways without water or anything. And they'd cut across. That's the Journey of Death. That's how it got its name. And I ride all this, and I've rode it for years and years. I want to ride it through, just like, like the Butterfield Trail. I know I talked about that, and I still have plans to do that. I have to be able to find the time to do it, put together 7 or 8 days of good weather so I don't have to fight the wind. The wind is what bothers me. And I have to go out and do a bunch of scouting to find water sources. And then I don't want my animals to suffer, so I'm going to cache feed for my mules along the way for that. But then I also want to ride this. This is only going to be like a 4-day ride. I want to leave right out of my yard at my house. And the Jornada del Muerto, it's just like the Butterfield Trail. Butterfield Trail is about 4 miles comes by my house about 4 miles away. The Jornada del Muerto starts right there in front of my house, like a half a mile from my house. So I can hit it, ride right out of my yard, head north. I'm not going to stay down in the desert, desolate part of it. I'm going to do what I would call the outlaw section of it. If I was an outlaw and I was riding a horse or mules or whatever, I wouldn't ride out there in the middle of that desert. I'd ride up in these hills where I could drop down to the river, or I could hit some of these little springs. These springs are probably not got water in them anymore, but you can still ride over the mountain, get to the river, and you'll have water and everything. Where those caravans, where they had those big oxen carts or wagons or whatever they were pulling, they couldn't go through these rough old mountains. They had to stay down in the flats and go across. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do the outlaw portion of it one of these days. I promise you I will. And I'll film it. So anyway, Bonnie should be done eating her breakfast. I'm going to get on her, and I'm going to ride right up to the top of that mountain up there. Ride down that mountain, get these dogs out, let them stretch their legs, and try to get my mind right. Let me tell you what, guys, it's a terrible feeling. I don't have all the words to explain it, but it's nothing good. I promise you that. Anyway, see if I can get out of this chair. Oh, my back doesn't. Those steroid tablets are helping a lot. I'm not taking any pain pills, no ibuprofen, no Tylenol, no nothing like that. But I think the steroids are helping. And they say if that works on it, then if they need to, they can give me an injection in my back. And that'll work for like 6 months or so. I'm going to try to avoid an operation as long as I can. But if it gets right down to it, I'm going to do some research, try to find some recommendations on the best surgeons around and go to a good surgeon. Because I'm not done yet, man. I got places I want to see. I got places I want to go. So, anyway, onward and upward. Oh, make some old man noises. Windy up here on top. Not much I can do about it. Just the way it is out here in this old nasty desert. Look at that though. Just look at it. You know what's amazing about this desert is how desolate it looks. Did you get a little bit of rain on this sucker? And it's nice. It'll grow some grass. Be pretty. All these little dirt tanks get full of water. It's not bad. It's just a certain feeling about it that something. I don't know what it is. One thing I think I need to be careful about is like on the south side of these hills like this, with the temperatures getting up like this, if I run into a rattlesnake den, you have a den like that and the temperature gets warm, those rattlesnakes will come out of that den and lay around on the rocks in the sun. And that's not a good thing when you get into a packet of them like that. There's desert bighorn sheep in these little mountains right here, and mule deer, and there's lions that come through here from time to time. Javelina, coyotes, of course. There's coyotes everywhere. Every time I ride country like this, it reminds me of the old television series, The High Chaparral. Or even one of my favorite movies of all time is Barbarossa.
Some legends are born.
You haven't got enough in your britches to pull the trigger on Barbarossa.
Some are made.
Never meant to kill August.
And some
Damn it, stop that.
are made for each other.
Take turns on this jackass.
I'll go down right through there, kind of side hill across, and then get down. Look at that right there. Now, there used to be an outlaw out here. I think they called him El Chapo. If I'm wrong, I'll correct it. I'll put it right here. But watch this. Let's go right over here. I think they said that he was like half Apache or half Mexican, something like that. But look at this spot right here. Now, if I was an outlaw and I wanted to keep track of the caravans coming in and out, and I was planning my attacks on them, because that's what they said he did, where would you want to sit at and watch? You could see a caravan coming for, forever out through there. Look at this. You could sit right here, this natural rock wall, and you could see them coming forever. But yeah, they used to hide up in these hills and then descend down on the caravans and rob them. Not that there was a lot to rob, because I don't know if they hauled gold or anything. They had church treasures that they hauled back and forth to Santa Fe, New Mexico. I always heard silver crosses and chalices and stuff like that. So, man, wouldn't it be fun to find a treasure up here like that, where they stashed it all? I wonder what's been found. Probably, like that guy said, if I ever found anything, you'd never hear a word about it. That probably wouldn't be right, would it? We probably need to turn it in to a museum or something, right? American Museum would pay you for it. Just turn it in so the public could see it. Let's ride right up to the top over here. Going back down the other side. It's kind of windy. I'd like to see some of those desert bighorn sheep. I ran into them quite often right in here. Now, why would they fence that thing off? I guess to have some kind of control. I need to get on the other side of that one over there, because I'll end up pinched here. And I don't want to do any extreme mule riding. I'm a long ways from nowhere with no help to have an accident. Don't you know that thing runs some water? Woo! I think I can cross right up here. Bonnie's mad at me because we were headed back towards the truck and now we turn around going the other direction. These mules are funny. They get mad. Guess we're gonna have to do some road riding. What the heck is that right there? I'm gonna have to go look. Got a solar panel. Rain gauge, I reckon. Just about dry rotted and fell apart. Huh. That's something. Wind started blowing pretty hard, but let me tell you what, I think that rocking motion, riding the mule, is good for your back. My back feels better than it has. Okay, guys, little concluder. After crying about my mental state and everything, after that ride, I feel so good after that ride. My back feels good. And something else that's kind of strange. On the way up there, I didn't even film it, I have to go through 3 gates. On the way back, I seen a truck coming down through there. And I thought, I bet those gates are open. I bet he opened those gates and left them open because he's the rancher. These are his cattle. Sure enough, the gates were open. It's always nice when gates are open. But a rule everybody should know about, if you don't know, when you're out here in the West and you're out here in this country, you leave gates the way you found them. If they're open, you leave them open. If they're closed, you open them, go through, and you close them back. That's my tip for today. Till next time, onward and upward. Man, I'm glad I did this.